What up, OGs? We are back. And before anyone starts talking shit about my outfit, we are recording 2 episodes in the same day. So yes, I have the same outfit from last week.
We're working
hard. Pace
Pace
yourself.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The new studio has me like in a mood. So like every time we come in here now, I'm like ready to work. I'm like dialed the fuck
I almost
in.
want to come in after work just to like be here.
Yeah.
Just because it puts me in a good headspace to know that we have this area, this space to work.
No, dude. And it's been, even though it was a quick like building process, like we probably put in like 3-4 hours every single day after work, coming in here and just like knocking shit out one by one. But I'm not gonna lie, like whenever we would record the episodes when the studio was at my house, it was interesting because it was like there's so many distractions at your own house. So you don't really think about it, you know what I mean? And like your bed is right there, so you're like, fuck, I can't wait to take a nap after this. You know what I mean? Or like the kitchen's right there, you're like, let's just cook a meal before we get started.
I was
like,
talking to Morgan about this. I feel like this space is gonna change the game dramatically because it's away from our homes. Like we don't have Madden over there to distract us because we can't go do that halftime. You know,
that's actually such a good idea.
We can't go to the fridge and make some food.
The Madden one is huge. I did not even think about that. The Madden one is so big, bro, because it's like we would literally like get done with an episode, instead of doing more content, we would just go play Madden. Because typically, like if you have a big guest in here, like after you record an episode, like the pressure's high, the adrenaline's high, you're just like, you know, you're just stoked about it, and you just don't really, you feel like the job is finished. You know what I mean? And granted, like there was still a lot of times where we meet up during the week and get content and do things like that. But like now when we're in this room,
we are working.
We're working. We're dialed the fuck in, bro. So I love it. Let's go and jump into Win of the Week.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 116, Win of the Week. Joey Allen, start us off, brother.
No, you start us off because I started us last time.
Okay, you're right. So my Win of the Week, keeping it simple this week, but it's something that I love and I will never miss doing, bro. I do it every single time when I get out of the shower. And that is Q-tipping your ears.
I knew you were going to say that.
Bro, right after the shower, because for me, to be 100% real, like whenever I just Q-tip my ears like on a normal day, like nothing really happens.
It doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't sound the same.
It
doesn't feel the same, but it also like you don't really get, like I'm trying to get some stuff out of there, you know what I'm saying? Like, and during the day, it just like doesn't really hit the same way. But bro, fresh out of the shower, like literally thought about this morning, just because it's like
the hot steamy air.
You think, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what makes it more.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like the best feeling in the world. I usually go through. I'm like, hate to admit, 3 Q-tips
per ear.
Well, technically, because there's one end on each side. So yeah, I'll do like one on this side and the other end on this side. Then
no, I do 1 Q-tip per ear. So the first one is the big clean. Second one is the second clean, and then I come in with the third, and then the first half is like the finishing clean. Yeah. And then I use the other end to go woo 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 all on the outside.
Oh my God.
So it's at least 2 Q-tips per ear.
See, people sleep on that outside run. You know what I mean? Oh my God, dude. There's so many times where like you'll get everything, but like I'll be in bed and I'll feel like a little bit of wetness on my ear, and it just drives me fucking crazy.
Gotta get the ridges.
Bro, that's actually a good point. Yes, sir. And so that's my Win of the Week. It's simple, bro, but it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you know, you fucking know. And if I know there's a long time where I wasn't, like I wouldn't Q-tip my ears after every shower. And it's not like I'd crave it or miss it or anything like that, but now that I do it every single time when I get out of the shower, I'm like, bro.
Now I feel nasty if I don't do it.
100%.
Like if it's been like a day or two, I'm like, I should probably hit my ears.
Yeah, no, and I always keep a box of 1,000 on me. Like I get the biggest box, bro, and like me and Cass will just be flying through Q-tips all the time.
That's crazy.
So what's your Win of the Week?
My Win of the Week, I'm going to make it the winter drop doing so well. And special shout out to the white beanie. That's my favorite one that we've had. I can't believe we haven't sold 3 million of them. But yeah, dude, the winter drop, everything on there is just perfect. It's beautiful.
Dude, I'm glad you made this your Win of the Week, because the effort that went into that, making that winter drop, it was 14 items. We had teddy bears on there. We had fucking beanies. We had pins. We had hoodies. Like so many different items, bro, where, I mean, we've just dreamed about making this shit. You know what I mean? And whenever we first started the merch, it was the summertime and we were just waiting for the winter. And I think I was a little bit surprised too. Like I knew we had fans out there that were going to definitely be copping some stuff, and like friends of ours that wanted to support the pod and things like that. But bro,
the random orders from random states
on that first day when we dropped, and to be 100% fair, I wasn't going to put the white beanie on there. Like the white beanie wasn't my favorite item. You know what I mean? We've always done just like black apparel with the orange on top of it, or just like typically it's like some kind of like formation like that. We've even done like orange hats with like the logo on it, but with white stuff, I just feel like I just wouldn't have thought it would have hit. And that was our most sold product, was the white beanie. Clean. So shout out to everybody that copped anything. Also shout out to everybody that copped a white beanie.
Yes, sir.
Because that was dope, bro. I'm glad it did so well. One thing I want to talk about before we get into this week's episode is TikTok's banned. January 19th it'll be, which I think this episode comes out a few days before that. But yeah, I guess our TikTok days are over.
Are you mad about it?
No, not really, to be honest. Like, our TikTok doesn't really perform that crazy. I think we have like 3,000 on TikTok, but it doesn't hit like Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, when a video goes viral on Instagram, it's like tens of thousands of views. When it goes well on TikTok, it's like 2,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a good clip will perform well on Instagram and YouTube Shorts all day. You don't know about TikTok.
True.
Like, TikTok, sometimes that'll be your worst performing clip. And so it's just interesting. It's like a different kind of platform. And I think for the right kind of content, it's like the best platform. Like, you know, if you're into like, it just depends, bro. Like, I know for me, when I'm on TikTok, I'm not on there to see like the people that I actually like and the people that I love following. It's
You're just
more
watching random shit.
Random shit, bro. Are you mad about it?
No, I mean, I had my TikTok back in the day, but I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, for the people that don't know, like all the new listeners of this show, Joey Allen was TikTok famous for a minute.
I had some houseplants. If you look up the hashtag, I mean, it probably still is.
Oh, it is for sure.
Back then, Tiny Jungle was my hashtag. Like, that was all on me. If you look at that, I had a tiny house with all these exotic houseplants in it, and it just took off.
Dude, that era of Joey Allen is so slept on. Like, that era, you had your tiny house. It was such a dope tiny house, but every single corner, any place a plant could fit,
there was one there.
There was one there.
Yeah.
And they were all like real exotic houseplants. So they're all thriving. It's just hard to keep those things alive anyway.
Yeah.
But you managed to keep 300 of them alive.
It's easy in Florida.
And then you would do your, like, the videos that would go viral where you'd set all the houseplants like in one area. It literally looked like you're operating out of a jungle.
Yeah.
Like you're like washing dishes. There's plants everywhere around you, bro. It's fucking dope. I miss that era of Joey Allen, but I don't know that I would go back to it.
No, I wouldn't go back to it. I feel like I got everything that I could out of it.
Yeah.
I had a couple sponsors, made some money off some TikToks, but
Made some money for sure.
it's so crazy. Like, thinking back on it, like, making the amount of money I did for a 15-second video is insane.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like
Not that it's like a huge amount of money, but like just making
for a
any
15-second
money.
video,
It's insane.
100%.
Like, I sit there, I record myself, post it, get paid.
And some of the videos that we didn't think were going to go viral were the ones that did go viral. And so it was like surprising too how, you know what I mean? TikTok's just an interesting platform. I'm not going to miss it. But I think it was fun when it lasted.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of happy it's leaving.
I actually
I
kind
might
of am
spend
too
too much time on there scrolling.
I don't. That's the thing is I'm all over Instagram Reels. So like I'm really like TikTok leaving isn't going to affect my life very much.
Sure.
Honestly, it'll make it easier because when we post a social clip, that's just one last platform that we have to try to win over. You know what I mean? And with the way the algorithms are nowadays, bro, it's just like tricky as fuck.
Fuck the algorithm. Just post what you want to post, and if it goes, it goes.
100%. Dude, I'm so excited for today's episode.
Yeah, me too.
Very interesting guest. Someone that we've really, like the type of guest we've never had on the pod before.
But we need him on the pod.
Need him on the pod because if you enjoy money and you enjoy making money and you enjoy investing, you're going to love this episode. And honestly, I've got so many questions for this guest, bro. You guys are going to hear me and Joey ask the dumbest fucking questions.
Because we don't know shit.
I mean, we don't know fucking anything. So it's like literally like the questions we're going to ask, some of y'all are going to roll your eyes, but just know like.
Just bear with us.
We're trying to figure it out just like y'all. Okay?
This is our episode. You're watching it.
And really the only thing me and Joey have ever invested in is this podcast. So when it comes to investing, we're pretty much out on that. There was a little era where I'd like trade stocks and do things like that. But dude, it's just like I'm not on top of it enough.
I had like 0.0000001 of Bitcoin at one point. I had
oh my
like
God.
$34.
Boy,
Sold it.
Hey, it went up 10 cents.
Well,
You're like,
cashed out.
give me out. That's funny, bro. No, I'm excited for today's episode. Huge guest coming through today. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's go.
What up, OGs? We are here. Of course, I'm here with my brother, Joey Allen.
Yes, sir.
Episode 116 going down right now, man. Very excited for today's episode. A type of guest that we've never had on the show before, and I'm so excited to talk about like all these random things that he does. It's funny because this is something that me and you are very
ignorant
to. Like we really don't know a lot about it.
But we should.
We definitely should.
Yeah.
I think all of our listeners should too. So I'm very excited for this one, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the owner of Crypto Hub, the man himself, Kalen Ritter. What's up, brother?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. And yourself?
Dude, great. Pleasure to have you on the show today, bro.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
So we met you at the OGSP live show. And by the time we met, we were already breaking everything down. And I was like, fuck, we got to get this dude on the pod, bro. So I'm glad we could finally make it happen, man. Tons of shit to jump into today. But first, let's just go ahead and give the people a background on what you do.
So Crypto Hub is pretty much a place that people can come to learn about crypto as well as get into like actual invest into crypto.
Oh, okay.
I educate people. Like I started out doing consulting services on LinkedIn, like teaching people about it.
Okay.
But then I've been using the Bitcoin ATMs for, I don't know, I say at least 5 years. And then I decided to open up my own Bitcoin ATM because I realized that it is a way to bring people into the crypto space, and it's a lot easier than the more traditional ways, or the ways that people think of, like Coinbase, Crypto.com, the centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
And they're becoming as popular as they have become in the crypto space. I can see in the future them dying out, and people switching over to something that's called decentralized finance, where you have 100% control over your trading assets. And so I think that's where eventually the space is going to go.
Okay, sweet.
And I think a lot of people, they're only like, at least the newbies, are familiar with the crypto exchanges, like the centralized crypto exchanges. So they get onto those. They're not aware of a lot of the fees that they have to pay. A lot of them aren't aware that they have to file tax returns and stuff like that. So I kind of educate people on ways around that, as well as the Bitcoin ATM itself is a way to directly exchange cash into crypto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can
pull this mic a little bit closer to you. Just grab this little corner right here and just pull it. There we go. A little bit more.
a little bit more. Like this
There
right
we go.
here.
Perfect. Yeah. Go
All right.
one more. We'll give it one more little punch. There we go. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, you said to get that crispy audio. You know what I'm saying?
For
But
sure.
no, dude, that's so interesting because I think like people don't realize whenever they're investing in crypto, or especially Bitcoin or things like that there is a bunch of things that go with it as well, like the fees. The having to file a tax return and do all these different things about it.
When you talked about opening up a crypto ATM, what goes into? I've never even heard of a Bitcoin ATM. I've never even heard of that. So like, how do you open up your own? What's the process? How does money turn into Bitcoin through an ATM?
So it is. That's a in-depth answer, but honestly, a lot of people, even in the crypto space, aren't aware of the Bitcoin ATMs. And one example is a friend of mine who builds crypto machines, and I've known him for at least 4 or 5 years now. We've been doing a lot of business and stuff like that. He's got friends that program, like write their own scripts and things like that. So we've been doing a lot of work together lately. And just a couple of years ago, I brought that friend who's he's been balls deep in crypto since like 2012 or something like that.
Word.
And he
rich? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like he's not flashy. You would never think that he is by meeting him, but after knowing a lot about him over the years, he has several properties around the United States, and the investments that he has, and the equipment that he has. I know from seeing and knowing how much it costs to build some of the stuff. I know that he has to have some money to have some of this stuff.
Yeah, he's in it.
He's in it. Yeah. On top of, he hires programmers to work for him as well, so he's paying people good chunks of money to
nice.
build on the blockchain.
How long have you been in the crypto space?
So I got in 2016 when I was going to FSCJ. That's where I started out going before UNF to go for mechanical engineering. So in the process of my degree, I found out about crypto. I had actually heard about it long ago when I was in the military, but I didn't pay any mind to it because somebody had mentioned it was another gamer friend of mine. And he was just like, yeah, man, there's this, new Bitcoin stuff, and people are using it on the dark web to do all these illegal activities. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that because I'm working for Uncle Sam, I'm in
For
the
sure,
government
yeah.
right now, so I can't even think about anything like that. So I never paid it any mind. But then I learned in FSCJ that this is a real technology, and I looked up how people are getting paid off of it and stuff like that, and it was like, oh, mining machines, you build a computer and you program it to process the transactions, and it's basically a passive income that the machine sits at home all day where you go out and about and do whatever, and it's processing transactions and you're getting paid for it. So I thought, okay, it's like a ATM machine basically, because the ATM machine, you get a processing fee for people who just want to exchange money.
For sure.
So I thought, okay, this thing sits at home all day while I'm at school all day, so no brainer. Let's build this thing.
Yeah.
Like, what does it take? And at the time, like back then, it was easy because people had scripts that you could download, and you could run almost anything back then very easily.
Do you have to write code to make this work?
Now, pretty much. Again, there's still downloadable scripts that people have, but they're not going to run efficiently. So, there's these scripts on NanoMiner and stuff like that people have that are already pre-written, and you can come along and say, hey, I have whatever type of 3080s or setup equipment, and you can get a script from them and basically just download it onto your motherboard and start mining. with whatever you got, and you could sit there and adjust the clock settings and things like that and try to get it as efficient as you can. But most people, they don't know they don't know what they're doing, and because it's not custom to what they have, it's never going to run efficient. And that's why a lot of people, if you look into mining, they say they have heating issues, not profitable because of the amount of electricity cost and things of that sort. So my guys, they've learned how to build scripts, and they can look at, hey, you want to run 8 3080s on a single rig. This is the type of motherboard. This is the type of juice you'll be pulling straight out the box. But they work it to where, man, I've had those machines running for years and no problems. Like every once in a while, it might be like a wire burns out or something.
Yeah.
You got to replace a $5-10 wire or something small like that. But overall, they just sit and do their thing. And even though like a lot of people talk smack about the fact that, well, price is so down or whatever, there's also ways around that. Like I have solar on my house, so I pretty much mine for free.
Oh, genius. I didn't even think about that.
But if you're mining, if you're constantly mining, and all these people are constantly mining, I'm probably so wrong about this because I don't know. We can go down such a deep rabbit hole.
No, go down it, brother. I'm the same way.
Miners, like miners alone, like you can mine it.
Yeah.
What do you, and then so like if everybody can mine it, how does the value not go down? Or does it?
It doesn't, because so what mining is, it's just you're processing transactions that are going on. So basically I guess maybe let's back up and explain a little bit how this system works.
Yes, please.
All right. So it's all a computer set network. It's a global network. And how it works is you have to have a computer that's basically programmed to process the transaction. Now, it's a very complicated mathematical equation that the computer is solving.
Does it have? I'm sorry if I'm going to butt in a lot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does it have to be a special computer?
It doesn't.
Okay.
No, you could. My buddies have figured out how to mine on your cell phone.
Really?
Yeah, you could. They now have a program. Probably shouldn't even say this, but maybe edit this part out. But my friend's got a program now. If you get the Tesla and you go have them, so I don't know if you're aware of what the self-driving is, but when you want to get that upgrade and you take your Tesla back, they input what's called a FPGA. It's a field programmable gate array is what that stands for. It's an AI chip that's it's the only thing that has the capabilities of reading all the variables that are changing all the time when you're driving to be able to make the accommodations.
Right.
So they install that, and they have programs already on there. The thing is that program that uses up such a small amount of the computing power on that AI chip. So my buddy was like, oh, well, since it's an AI chip and it's got all this extra processing power, we'll build an application that you can mine while you're out driving your Tesla car.
Oh, my God.
So it's just extra free, something that you're getting paid for while you're driving the car anyway.
So do you get a percentage of Bitcoin every time you mine one of it, or are you getting paid in actual cash?
No, you get crypto. So depending on what you mine, so if you're mining Bitcoin, yes, you get paid in Bitcoin. So yeah, you build a computer. How it works is, let's say you want to process Bitcoin transactions. Right now, you can't really build a computer that's powerful enough. That's why they have ant miners now that's specifically built for processing Bitcoin transactions. You basically won't be profitable unless you have something like that. Or if you're getting into AI and you have access to AI, then it's possible that you build something that can mine Bitcoin and be profitable. But if you're that deep into it, most of people that I am aware of that are mining on AI, we're all mining meme coins and I'm sorry, not meme, AI coins and a lot of other tokens like that have utility. And there's a laundry list of different tokens that you can mine.
Is AI coin similar to Bitcoin?
No, so an AI coin. So there's these different categories. So again, let me first explain how all this works. Is basically it's a global network. There's machines that are getting paid to process the transactions. If you have a machine, so it's adding. So basically, the technology itself is called blockchain technology, right? Like so, Bitcoin, all these other Ethereum, everything else. No matter what the software program it is, the technology that is built on is blockchain technology. And the reason's because you basically think of it as a block that gets created, and a node will start off the process saying, hey, this account requested 1 Bitcoin, or to send 1 Bitcoin from their account to this other account. And then it goes out onto the network and basically finds the next miner that's in place to process a job.
I see.
Now, there's a lot more to it than that. I'm just simplifying it for you, because the network is also a self-learning network that also, it keeps track of, say you got a tiny miner, but it's on 24/7. It's reliable.
Yeah.
It never shuts down. It's always processing. It doesn't hang up. It doesn't overheat and reject transactions or nothing. It's good. It's built right, and it's consistent, and it's chopping away transactions. Now, you got some badass $1 million rig, but y'all do maintenance on a regular, and let's say you're shutting the thing off once or twice a week or something like that. The pool is keeping track of all of that that's going down. It's like you're shutting off for X amount of time during the day.
Yeah.
You're staying on 24/7. You're on every 5 days, you shut off for 10 hours.
Yeah.
So is it going to give him more because he's dependable?
Maybe. So maybe because, let's say a job comes in and it's like a massive job, right? And the payout is huge. So let's say somebody's sending, I don't know, $50 million worth of Bitcoin, and the payout is like a half a Bitcoin or some shit. All right. So they might look around and go, well, you're the next biggest one in line. But they do the calculations or something and see that, well, by the time you get done mining it, you might shut off before you're finished. You're next in line. Here you go. Now, it might take you forever.
Right.
For sure. I was going to say, but mine's so much smaller, so I'm not going to be able to mine it as quick.
Right. It'll take you a little while.
Yeah.
But eventually, you'll get that payout, and it'll be a fat-ass payout.
Yeah,
so
dude,
that's kind of how
crazy.
that works.
So it's based off of what job that you're given, based off of the transaction. So it's like it's kind of like a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, like, if people aren't buying Bitcoin like that, then your jobs might go down a little bit, right?
Yes and no. And so that's a lot of the data that's on the network that people are watching on a daily basis. Every second they're recording this data is how many users are using the network. And every day we're seeing there's more users, more active wallets being established and created every day, and there's more transactions every day. So we're seeing that there are people coming in and into the space and using this technology, and because of that there's a demand for the miners, because if you only have one miner and you've got 1 million transactions, that thing's only going to process the transactions whenever. But if you've got 1 million miners and 1 million transactions, and each of them are doing one, and they're processing 1 per second or something, and that allows more people to come in.
For sure, I see.
So that's kind of where the balance is. It's like there might be a lot of transactions that come on, but then there's going to be a demand for miners, and there's going to be some type of incentive that comes with that.
What's a blockchain?
So the blockchain is the information. That's the technology, right? That's where the information of all these transactions is being put and recorded. Okay. And that's what makes all of this legitimate. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, this is made up out of thin air, like your dollars are. Like, the Federal Reserve government's just printing money out of thin air and giving it to the banks to give to us, which they're really lending, and then we pay it back plus interest.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the whole scam system. Yeah. But this is actually like, no, this person used real electricity and real hardware called a miner. Just like you send real machines and real people out to dig in the ground and mine gold, that's where the concept came from, because it's like, well, we're really putting electricity and energy and machinery into doing something.
Yeah.
And what is it doing is processing these transactions, and that's what we're getting paid for. And so let's say you got a whole Bitcoin again and you want to send it, and some random miner now gets that block. So that's what the blockchain is. It's that block comes in from the node. It says, hey, this transaction needs to happen. The miner accepts the job and finishes by writing the code in the block, this imaginary block. So now it's filling this block full of code saying that at this date and time, this amount of crypto went from this wallet to this wallet. Okay. It may not say who owns the wallet, or nothing like that, but it's just saying it's accountable for the total amount of crypto that's in the space and where it is. So it's a ledger, a live ledger that anybody can verify in the world at any point in time. Click on your transaction ID and it'll take you somewhere like Etherscan or something like that, or to I forget what the Bitcoin one is. I think it's bitcoin.com or blockchain.com or something like that.
Yeah.
You could put in your transaction ID and it'll say at this date and time, this amount of Bitcoin went from here to here. This is what this transaction was.
So is that why people used it on the dark web? Is because sometimes, like, you can't track which wallet it's going to?
Right. There are security coins that you can use, and also it's because the wallet, you can see that there's a wallet that paid for something. You might know that whatever they paid for is illegal, but you don't know who owns the wallet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a wallet, anybody could download a wallet. They're free, like Phantom Wallet, Trust Wallet are the ones that I give my clients, or like people that don't know anything about it and they want to use the Bitcoin ATM for the first time. I say, hey, you download one of these two. They're free. Sit down with them, save their password because that takes 2 minutes, and then you open up your Bitcoin wallet address. So you don't give a name, a phone number, a social, no personal information. And you get the password, and anyone that has that password has access to the account.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
So then you could just go from that account straight to the Bitcoin ATM and scan your wallet, put cash in the ATM, and anonymously now you're purchasing Bitcoin, and you can go do whatever you want with the Bitcoin from there.
Have there ever been issues with wallets being stolen or like
wallets being stolen?
Because it's all like a digital thing, isn't it? It's all online,
right? There's so much security behind it. So say you rob me from my phone right now. Okay, to get in the wallets, you have to have my thumbprint. That gets you into the wallet. You could see what I have. Now, let's say you want to try to make a transaction. It asks you for my personal 4-digit PIN that I created that's in my head. Then you have to scan my thumbprint. And then on some wallets, like my Tangent wallet is my most favorite one that I've been showing people. It's a really great wallet. It requires a card. So I'll show it to you. It's right here in my actual wallet. So this card right here has the actual key phrase, the passwords. I don't even know what the password into the wallet is.
It's just the card.
I see.
They're on the card. And whenever you go to send a transaction, it asks you for it says, all right, scan your thumbprint, type in your 4-digit PIN, put the card, turn your NFC on, put the card on the back of the phone, and when it registers this, then it will allow you.
So if you don't have that, you can't.
Yeah.
So there's 4 levels of security so that you can steal my shit.
I was gonna say that's safer than if someone were to try to steal your damn cell phone. That's crazy, bro.
Exactly.
So what if so it's essentially like the Bitcoin ATM, technically it kind of is like a real life like miner, because you are processing transactions, no?
It's not like a miner. It's just so what it does, it's a way of an exchange. It's basically an exchange. It's an international exchange. And the reason I say that is because you can come from anywhere in the world and not even have to establish a banking account. And that's the purpose of a Bitcoin ATM, is that you can come from China, Africa, wherever you want. And let's say you don't even have a banking system in your country, which is the case in a lot of countries. A lot of people aren't even aware of that. Some countries have to use like Western Union and stuff like that because they don't even have banking. So let's say you're in that situation, right? What do? You have people that come here on work visas. Yeah. They work, they can get their cash. So before I say this is another issue, is that people are coming here on work visas. Let's say you came here on a work visa, you're working hard for your money, and then you go to send money back to Africa to your family or something or wherever. Their banks are making up reasons to confiscate that money and not even give it to their families because they're saying, oh, this went against some rule or law or whatever in our country, so they confiscate. So that's a real thing that's going on. So instead, now people are learning about Bitcoin, so they can come here on their work visa, they can get paid, go to a check cashing place, cash their check right there, come to a Bitcoin ATM, buy Bitcoin, and send it straight from their wallet to their family's wallet. And their family can have it over there in whatever country instantly. There's no middleman around.
Do they lose money in that? So like if I want to send you a Bitcoin, Nick is the miner. He gets paid for mining the transaction, but is that from my Bitcoin?
Yes. So if you go to process, say you want to send a Bitcoin or a partial of Bitcoin or whatever, say from me to you, right? Your transaction goes to a random miner in the world. We don't know who it goes to. But right before you click the go button, the send, it'll say how much, there'll be a bar. It'll say scan my wallet or enter in the wallet address. So you can manually enter it in. So you do that, and then it'll say how much Bitcoin you want to send. And then as you type it in, it'll give you the US dollar amount equivalent under that. And then, so let's say it's $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? You see on there, okay, it'll say the receiver will receive $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, say 0.000 whatever the Bitcoin. And then it'll say you're sending this amount along with
a little more
$5 transaction fee or whatever.
For sure, okay.
So it prompts you on that and lets you know that you're about to spend a little bit extra for the fee, and then you just agree to it. So that fee is split between the platform that you're using, let's say Coinbase or whatever, some centralized, whatever exchange,
Cash App,
whatever. So they get a part of it, and then the miner gets a part of it. That's where what the fees for.
Okay.
So and that's where the miners get paid for. And then you asked earlier, is the Bitcoin ATM like a miner? And it's not, because it's basically, so like I was saying, it's like an exchange where you can come in and exchange either Bitcoin straight from cash from another country. So you can come here and scan your Bitcoin and sell it to my ATM, and it'll spit the cash out. So you don't even have to open up a bank account here or nothing like that.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's the real importance of it, right? Is like, if you come here, you need instant money, but to establish banking and all that stuff, it's quite a process to prove your residency or whatever you got to do. And
For
you
sure.
might not even have residency, but you still need to eat today. You still need a cab today. So you could use Bitcoin at the ATM, but it's just a transaction processor. It sends the actual transaction to a miner, however. So so I have a wallet that's set up with the Bitcoin ATM. So like right now there's a pre-established wallet where I have Bitcoin sitting in case someone comes and makes a purchase. Mm-hmm. Then it comes out of that wallet, but the software says, okay, this customer came in for a purchase. This is how much they're getting. It actually sends the job to the blockchain. Oh, okay. So it's kind of separate.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So with the Bitcoin ATM, is that just a place for you to go and trade your Bitcoin for cash, or is it a place where you can also like send out Bitcoin? Yeah, like obviously you can cash out with it, but can you go and like give cash to it and buy Bitcoin through the ATM? Okay, cool. And can you trade Bitcoin from one person to another with the ATM?
You can. So one thing I should say is that there's a legal entity called FinCEN that works with the IRS and the FBI and all the three-letter guys. They have these rules and regulations right now. I don't know why, but I have to follow them. It's called a KYC compliance program that's under the Bank Secrecy Act. They made up this rule that for some reason when you use the Bitcoin ATMs, they want you to scan your personal Bitcoin wallet. Now, you can scan anybody's Bitcoin wallet address, and when you put the cash in, it's going to tell you how much Bitcoin is going to that wallet. It doesn't care whose it is. But when you click on the disclaimer, or to click on to use it, there's a little agreement for a disclaimer, and it says in the disclaimer that legally you should only be scanning your personal Bitcoin wallet. And honestly, now that I'm talking about it, it has dawned on me why it probably is, because there's another thing that they have us do. It's a whole training that we go through for scams. There's like these old people that I guess are getting scammed, or like people in general, where these scammers are coming to people saying, hey, you owe us for these utilities, or they're sending them utility bills and saying that you got to pay us in Bitcoin or whatever. And there's also like these love scandals apparently, where old people are getting into these fake love relationships, and then the fake person's like, hey, well, send me Bitcoin because I need it for whatever boo sob story. So there's stuff like that we got to kind of look out for. And I think maybe that's the reason why, because it's like, if you're sending it to somebody else, then maybe there's some ulterior motive of the somebody else that you're sending it to, or some reason they don't know why you're sending this to this person. And that's also probably part of the Know Your Customer Compliance program is for terrorism acts. They try to say that people are using Bitcoin for terrorism and stuff like that, even though we all know that the US dollar is really funding all the terrorism around the world. You know what I'm saying?
So funny. It's accurate as fuck. It's funny too, because I do feel like with the Bitcoin thing, like there are parts of it where it kind of feels like the wild, wild west. You know what I mean? Where it's like you just don't really know. It's like such a foreign space, like, and everyone's kind of just like taking their stab at it in different areas. But you do see like the value of it going up like crazy, bro. So it's like hard to ignore in the end of the day. Like Bitcoin, I mean, with it just hitting, it hit what was it, $100,000? Like one Bitcoin is worth like $108,000, bro.
And still hanging out over 90.
And I mean, I remember when it was like, like high 20s, bro. You know what I mean? And even at that time, it was like crazy because it felt like it was still worth so much money. Right. And it's like, if you had a Bitcoin, like you can go out and buy a fucking car. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now it's like, dude,
buy a house.
Yeah, literally, bro. Like it's crazy. Like it's so hard to ignore the growth of Bitcoin over the past couple of years. And obviously me and Joey are so ignorant to it. Like neither of us have ever owned a Bitcoin, even tried to trade it or anything like that. But no, I just think I salute you, man, for being so knowledgeable in the space, because I'm sure like in the end of the day, it's probably going to take over the US dollar.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate that.
You think that could happen eventually?
Oh yeah. So allow me to explain why it's you said you're seeing it go up in value. There's a reason for that. And then I'll definitely answer along with that why I think that it'll replace the dollar as well. Yeah. Which there's a lot of people coming out saying why they think that it'll replace the US dollar eventually. So the Federal Reserve banking system, right? So the banking system in general, people around the world are waking up, learning about it, realizing that it's a total scam, because we have the Federal Reserve that's over all the banks around the world, and the Federal Reserve is the only one with the power to print money. And if they catch you printing any money, you already know the consequences.
Yeah.
And so they could just print it at whatever rate they want, but we're out here working for it, right? So even though you get a $500 check this month, let's say, or this week or whatever, they done printed so much money by the time you get another check that's what's really devaluing the dollar and making everything increase. Because we all know that it doesn't cost the same, it doesn't cost more to build a house. And I'm using this example because I'm a homeowner and I bought my first home 10 years ago for $95,000. And now the market's claims it's $320,
That's
whatever.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
the same house.
Yeah.
There's nothing changed about the house. It's the value of the money to buy the house.
For sure.
Right. And the reason behind that is because if you look at, I think it's the usdebtclock.org or something. It's a free website anybody can look on. It's counting every second, showing where all the money's going, how much we've made, our GDP, the 35, 36 trillion that we're in debt. That's actually our national debt, what they claim an individual owes, but it's actually over 100 trillion that our nation owes to the world. And the rate that we're making money is on that website, and the rate that we're making is nowhere near the rate that we're spending it. So we're working backwards as far as the money is coming in, and on top of that, it's being inflated because it's being printed. So it's like a forever slave system that we're trapped in. Now, Bitcoin, that's the reason why it came around, is because they said, well, our paper, how money works is it's whatever we value it, is how it started. Now it's whatever the Federal Reserve puts a value on it and says it's worth, a dollar's worth this much. That's all because they can determine how many dollars are on the market, right? So Bitcoin, there's only 21 million that was ever existed. It's written in the code that there will only ever be 21 million. And since a lot of people have lost a lot of their access to their crypto, let's say you got in 10, 15 years ago, somebody told you, hey man, this Bitcoin shit that's only 10 cents right now, you might want to buy a dollar's worth. You'll have a whole bunch, maybe 5, 10 Bitcoin, and eventually this will be something.
Yeah.
You listen to your friend, you do that, but then you lost the password because you didn't really think it was that important. Now 10 years later, you got $1 billion worth of Bitcoin nobody has access to.
Is that common?
Very common.
Damn.
Oh my
Very
gosh.
common. There's so many stories of
Can
that.
you
all
get
over
it
the
back
place.
in any way? No.
You know the
because-
password, right? You just got to figure out the
know the
password.
password.
Yeah.
So as long as you find that, you don't even need the device. So that's the beauty and power of this technology, right? Like they say in Spider-Man, with great responsibility, or what is it? Great power comes with great responsibility. This technology gives us the power to be your own banking system. And that's why it's going to phase the banking system out, to answer your question about the US dollar.
Yeah.
Paper money altogether is already being phased out by the banks. They're tired of having it because they have to manage it, right? And to manage money, physical stuff in general, you have to pay for armed guard services and the trucks to drive it that cost diesel fuel, and you got to buy a building to store it in with humidifiers that cost electricity, and the list goes on. So you're spending millions, if not billions of dollars to manage the money. So as for them as a business, if they cut out management of the paper dollar and make it all digital, it's in their benefit, right? So they're already doing that. I've got a 12-year-old. I've taken them to places like Legoland and stuff like that, completely cashless. You got cash. They got a machine. You got to put the cash in and preload the card and go around and use their card around the what's it called? The theme park.
Yeah, like whatever that a theme park is.
Yeah, so that's becoming a thing around. I've experienced the same thing in California and Texas, other places that I've been to. A lot of places are going cashless. And I think that has to do with the management of it, the amount that they spend on the management of it. Because even like them, say Legoland, for example, they have to pay for all that cash to come in and armed guard services to come do it. And they're also federally regulated, just like me. I have a KYC. You can't just go put $10,000 in a bank without there being some type of form. So all that money, all that cash, they have to account for and have somebody keep it somewhere, and then they go deposit it, and then they got to fill paperwork out. Versus if you're just coming in and swiping with your debit card, because they're a cashless system, they don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, and it's also because we know the banking system, they're collecting the interest on your credit cards too. So I'm sure big corporations like Legoland, Disney World, stuff like that, they're probably connected with the banking system. So they're getting some type of incentive to go cashless as well. I'm sure. You know, somewhere deep down in the background,
their profit margins are probably bigger.
And that too.
Yeah.
You know, so there's all these types of little underlaying. So back to the crypto stuff is that there's no banking system, right? So the banking system keeps you from doing all the things that we were just talking about. Like you don't even have, you have to do what somebody else says, right? If I want to go fly to Vegas right now and I got $10,000 in my pocket, which is nothing these days, like we just discussed, inflation is making everything go up. What's $10,000 this day? You can't even buy a car with $10,000 these days. But they'll confiscate your $10,000 in the airport if they think that you're doing something illegal, if they want to make up some kind of reason. That's just, oh, you know, this guy just looks weird, I'm just going to make up a reason and take his $10,000, and now you're going to Vegas empty-handed. So instead, crypto, you can go anywhere in the world. Like I have, you know, I'm disclosed with a lot of money, you know, in my wallets, and I could go on an airplane, go anywhere in the world, and nobody even knows who I am and what I have. And so this technology has become so developed that people in the tech world, like Visa, they've recognized that this is a legitimate thing and they don't want to be phased out. You know, technology gets phased out. Like Blockbuster got phased out by Redbox, and then Redbox got phased out by Netflix because it's more convenient. We can sit at home now and just order whatever you want to watch, and I don't have to go return anything. So I'll pay the subscription versus paying the 20 extra bucks they're going to charge me if I lose the DVD or whatever. You know, it's the same compensation.
No, it's actually,
right?
it's a very good example because it's true. Like it is, like everything gets phased out with technology at some point.
Right.
And I mean, it's cool how you can, it is a little bit more private. Like I think that's got to be like a big part of it too, is like people enjoy the privacy, especially when it comes to their money. You know what I mean? And you want to know that it's going to be safe. Like I couldn't imagine going to Vegas and you lose 10 grand like before you even get there. I mean, you know you're going to lose 10 grand when you get there anyway, so you might as well.
But you at least have the fun.
Yeah, exactly. No, so it is really interesting, and you see a lot of countries nowadays where they're switching fully to Bitcoin.
Right.
And so, like, I don't know if it was Saudi Arabia or whatever, but it's like their main form of currency now.
It's El Salvador.
It's
and
insane.
Many other countries are jumping on that bandwagon, and it's because of what we're talking about. The banking system is so corrupt that the U.S. doesn't even really see inflation like other countries do. You know, say like a Mexican peso, right? Right now, $1 is like 1,000 of their pesos.
Oh, true.
Right. So their rate of inflation is it's exponential compared to ours. That's the same in other countries, right? They're printing off so much to try to keep up with what they owe that it's devaluing their dollar at such rapid pace that they might get their paycheck today, and if they don't go buy whatever food and necessities they need in their third world country today, tomorrow or the next day they might only get 80% of that or 70% of that because the inflation rate is that quick in other places. So we're not even used to seeing that.
Does it fluctuate a lot, or is it like a constant thing?
And I think around the world, I don't keep track on it, but I would assume that it's fairly constant in the way that it's just rapidly going out of hand, for sure. And so other countries, for that reason, are adapting to Bitcoin because it's so much simpler, and they, again, have the power to do what they want to do with their funds. And it's not inflating, it's actually deflating, right? Because so much money's pouring into it, and there's only so much, and you do have a little bit that's lost every now and then.
But you could see why a government would want to like keep cash in play, because they want to be able to regulate it so that they can then get their like upper hand on you. You know what I mean? So do you think that's the main reason why the U.S. is kind of a little bit more hesitant to switch over to Bitcoin, because then Uncle Sam isn't going to really have his like,
how's he going to get paid?
Exactly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like if the government ain't making money, then they're not going to let anything fly.
For sure. So two things about that. So one, you're right. In the past, so it's no longer the case that they're doing that. In the past, though, they were making all this bullshit stories, basically. Sorry, excuse my language.
No, look, like, let it fly,
free
brother.
Speech, brother.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, we cuss more than any other podcast on the internet, brother.
So yeah, they so the banking system, like you said, they want to get theirs. So in the past, they've been saying all this shit about it's terrorism, it's used for all these illegal activities and stuff like that, and try to put a spin on crypto to where it's this bad narrative. Meanwhile, the dollar is the bad narrative if you really look at it, because we're only strong because we're the world reserve currency. And that's something else I can get into, is we're not even backed by anything except for being the world reserve currency. And we're not even that anymore because the BRICS nations just changed all of that. So our dollar is really not even held up by anything anymore. And that's why I think it's about to go to complete zero, which it already pretty much
Wasn't it backed by gold or something?
It used to be. And then in the 70s, I think it was Ronald Reagan or something. I forget what president, they signed off on it no longer being in the treasury, and our dollar no longer being backed by gold. And supposedly that's when all the gold started.
That happened in the 70s?
In the 70s.
Damn, I'm behind.
And if
brother, you are late, brother.
And look at a chart. Go back. I swear, when we get off the podcast, go Google the buying power of the dollar chart, and you'll see that it was flat forever, or it goes from this way from your point of view.
Yeah.
Flat forever, it was strong. And then in the 70s, as soon as it was taken off the gold standard, it's literally gone like this.
Really?
So you could, and that's why you could look at what can you buy for $1 back in 1970, and it was like you can go to a grocery store and buy damn near half a cart of groceries for $1.50.
Yeah.
And they got, so there's pictures, there's memes of this. You know, back in 1975, I could buy all of this with like a $5 bill, and it shows what you buy today with a $5 bill. And it's
Can't
like
even
2
get a
candy bars.
cheeseburger.
Yeah. Right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
it. Candy bars $2.60 something,
Yeah.
and then after tax it's $3. So what can you buy today with a $5 bill? Like
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh, shit.
Right. So that shows you how much what the value of the dollar is. It's literally nothing anymore. It's literally gone to zero, and it's continuing to devalue.
Gosh, dude, that is insane.
Yeah.
It's cool too how like you see some, like there's certain companies too where they'll accept Bitcoin as a form of payment.
Oh yeah.
Like obviously there's a ton of companies that still don't. But it is interesting to see like some companies kind of like get behind that. Like they see the future kind of unfolding at our
Right.
fingertips, you know what I mean? And so it's so
I feel like a lot of
interesting.
online stores do Bitcoin and stuff. So
Oh,
like if
yeah.
it's already an all online thing, like maybe they have it written in
So
there.
let's give some tips for like someone who's watching this and they're like me and Joey and they've never invested in Bitcoin before.
Okay.
What is the best time to get in? Is it when it's at its lowest point, like in the relative? Obviously, it's never gonna go back down to 20 grand.
Are we
but,
too
like,
late?
No. That's a loaded question, but to answer it as best as possible, it's never too late to buy. And the game of getting Bitcoin is just like getting dollars, right? To get as many dollars as you can right now is what everybody thinks you should be doing to be rich. It's now going to be get as much Bitcoin as you can. So what I advise people, it doesn't matter if the price is up, down, or going in circles. If you have $20 that you're about to blow anyway, or you just got some extra money this paycheck, buy a Bitcoin with it. Because you might wake up tomorrow, and if you go look at these people like Michael Saylor and these CEOs of BlackRock and MicroStrategy, ARK Invest, stuff like that, these people with trillions of dollars in their hand that are buying this, there's a reason. If you go follow them, they'll tell you this is super legitimate, and they're going to be buying it forever. And it's because they know the value of it, that this will be the money one day. So eventually, when all this paper crap is no longer being used, and now you have to choose between the banking system who tells you what to do with your money, when you can take money out. Oh, we're going to close at 4:00, so there's no customer service passed in unless you talk to somebody online. Which
And there's a fee if you want to.
And a fee and all this other shit versus I just got it in my pocket and I could send it to whoever, whenever, and it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1 trillion, and it doesn't matter what the reason is or where they are in the world. I have the power to send it to them. So in 10, 15 years from now, that's what your kid's ultimatum is going to be, right? And that's where you think in the future, right? Where's the future really going to be with money? When you tell a 15-year-old or a kid in 15 years that's born today, when they become 15 and they start understanding money and they're like, oh, I go get this paycheck and I got to go deposit it into a third-party system and trust them. And if I want to go spend my money, maybe they're going to put a hold on my card or some weird shit. And then I got to call customer service, say, hey, why is there a hold? Oh, because you were trying to spend more than $600, which ain't shit. Well, I'm trying to buy a car that's $60,000. Right. Well, what are you talking about? I can't get it for another day or two, or, oh, you know, whatever bullshit they tell you. Versus the other option is, I go do what I want when I want. Yeah. I sit on Bitcoin for a couple of years, and then my $100 turns into a Lambo, and I go buy a Lambo, and nobody tells me
asked.
no. Yeah. That's the two options.
But is it like
they're going to go with that second option? They're going to say fuck the banking system, and people are already today not putting money in the banking system. There's charts all over that I watch. people that are following money that it's coming in and out of the banking system, and there's less and less money going in, and there's people pulling it out and buying assets right now, and mostly because the economy is real terrible.
Yeah.
But there's less people already using the banking system because we have Cash App, WhatsApp, PayPal, all this other shit that you could send money on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think people are scared or like they don't want to do it because, so like say I have $20,000 and I want to put it into Bitcoin, but everywhere I shop doesn't accept Bitcoin. So yeah, it's saving money, I guess.
Every shop does accept Bitcoin because, like I was telling you earlier, Visa now partnered with exchanges, right? They see where the technology is going. So they said, we don't want to be phased out. We still want to be a card supply company that still deals with money, a money transmitter, something. We want something to do with getting a little transaction fee off of people making transactions because we're forever making transactions. Yeah. Okay. So what they did was they made partnerships with the exchanges. So now, let's say you put $100 in the Bitcoin ATM, right? You send it to your private wallet. Nobody knows you have it. You wait a couple of years, or let's say you put another 20 in, whatever you do. You got a little bit of Bitcoin in your wallet. Some time goes by, now it's worth a whole bunch of money. You want to cash out on it, or let's just say you just want to go buy lunch. No matter what you want to do, you want to spend it. You can now send it to Coinbase, Crypto.com, one of these exchanges that partner with Visa, and you can send it there in US dollar from your wallet. You can swap, say, Bitcoin to USD and send the USD straight to your Visa or your account that's connected to your Visa, and put it on the Visa and go spend it like a debit card. So even if they don't take the Bitcoin right now, there's a way of them accepting the Bitcoin right now.
That's dope.
That's good.
Wow. It's so interesting, bro. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm ready to go buy some fucking
I know, I've already learned.
Hey, brother, fuck that lunch we had earlier and fuck that dinner we had
tonight. Where's the closest ATM?
Yeah, so where are your ATMs? Like, and how many do you have?
I have 3 locations right now. I just put up my 3rd one. So I've only been in business 1 year. September 18th made my first year officially
good shit,
in business.
Bro.
Yeah, appreciate
I mean,
it.
that's 3 ATMs already. It's fucking crazy.
ATMs, yeah.
So where can people find these?
One of them is on, so first you can go on my website, which is cryptohubatm.org, and it lists all my...
.org. Look at it.
Okay, that boy goes crazy.
This ain't no .com.
No, hell no. .com's gonna be done in a couple years anyway.
For sure. So yeah, I'm on there. You can find the locations. It's got links to the locations, and it's on Google Maps and everything like that. The closest to the airport is 57 Baysden Road inside the Price Right Food Mart, which actually it just got changed to the San Mateo Food Mart, I believe. Okay. It's right behind Texaco, right off Main Street. Nice. Pretty close to the highway. The closest one to here, I would say, is either the one on Bowden. So I've got one at, I think it's 5711 Bowden inside the shopping center where there's Bonos and everything. It's where you have to get off on I-95 if you want to go to University. You have to get off on the Bowden. That intersection right there, that main intersection where there's like 3 gas stations, it's in the shopping center where the Bonos is at. It's like 2 doors down from that inside a computer depot.
Okay, nice.
And then I think the closest one to here actually is inside the Drippy Smoke Shop, which is on Southside Boulevard near Touchton.
Oh, that's a lot closer,
bro.
Yeah.
Well, and what's like the profit margin? You don't have to like spit numbers, but like, are you making money off of each of these?
Yeah. How much per transaction does a ATM take?
So I'm the cheapest ATM in the city. Like I shared with you before using Bitcoin ATM, opening a Bitcoin ATM company, I was using the Bitcoin ATMs, and I've used every single one in the city, and they all charge between 30 and 40%, and that's another reason.
Damn! Holy shit!
Yeah. So I looked into
that's insane.
Yeah,
I'd start a fucking ATM.
Yeah, brother, we're in the wrong industry, bro.
No, it's the same thing with gold. So if you look at gold ETFs on paper trading gold, let's say gold is $2,600 today. If you want to go to a broker and buy a real bar of gold, it's over 3,000. It's 30%. Charge for real gold. Like if you want to go buy a real gold bar. So I think that's where they get it from, because there's also like on my end, I have to process it through a bank and then send it onto an exchange, and there's a bunch of intermediary fees on my part that I have to pay.
Sure, yeah.
On top of that, the software companies, I don't know what other ATM companies are charging, but my company charges 1% off top of all transactions. Yeah, so they get a big chunk also.
Gosh,
but if you're getting like Bitcoin of America, I think it was a year or two, I looked into what went into them, and $75 million went into their ATMs, and it was over 30% profit that they got. So
that's
they're making
nuts,
$20-30 million just for doing
So
nothing.
how much is yours taking from each transaction?
So my percentages for all three of them walk in off the street is 21%. So I'm beating everybody out by at least 10%.
For sure.
On top of that, I'm giving discount codes. So like if you let me know, hey, I'm gonna come up there and spend thousands of dollars a month, or I'm gonna be a regular up there, I have different discount codes. They'll give you another 5 to 10% off of the 21%.
How many transactions a month do these ATMs combined go through?
You're asking too many questions.
Yeah, so that varies.
Curious.
But what I'm noticing on the other companies that are already well established, lots. Because if you're making $75 million one company in 1 year, that's people's money that they're putting in. So that's only got to be a lot of transactions.
Yeah.
Now me again, I'm on my first year. I will disclose with you. It's I think it was right at 63,000 is what total went into my ATMs over the year.
Wow,
And,
I mean that's still
passive income.
That's passive income, right?
Kind of. I mean,
you had to invest
I'm getting
in
about
that
10% of that is so 10% of that is roughly what I get, and then minus Uncle Sam's chunk. So I honestly only made about $5,000 or $6,000 this year. And that's not even making money because it's paying back my initial investment right now.
Right.
How much does it cost to buy an actual ATM, the physical ATM?
So one physical ATM cost me $9,000 shipped to my door, and $1,000 of it alone is shipping.
Sure.
But it gets sent to Chain Bites. Shout out to Chain Bites, Keith and them, who are my ATM providers. They're veteran-owned company out of Pennsylvania, and they write the software for them, and they have built-in like compliance and all that stuff. So they're a really good company to go through. That's why I went from them. Probably a little bit more than other companies, but I think because of them not being some cheap Chinese company and the service they provide and stuff like that. Like I get really good customer support anytime an ATM's been down or I've had an issue. Hey, this just the other day somebody come in, they only put $10 in the ATM. I didn't know that you can only put something as small as a $10 bill. I thought 20 was a low. So I actually learned something myself that you could put a $5 or a $10 bill in it, but it might not make the transaction, which it was the case. As a customer called me and said, hey, I've been waiting 3 or 4 hours and I still haven't got my transaction. And I called them and was like, hey, this is still it's put in queue and I've tried to resend it through a few times and it didn't work. And they're like, oh yeah, it's because they only put $10 in. So the next time somebody makes a transaction, say $20 or more, it'll go out, with theirs.
Because it was too small for like to be worth it or something.
Exactly. He said if it was to go out, it would cost so much on the blockchain fee and for their processing fee that I would actually lose a couple dollars.
I see. Yeah.
So the machine has a built-in safety feature for me so that it just waits until it can go out.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's stuff like that built into.
How many Bitcoin ATMs do you think there are in the city? Because for the people that are listening from other cities, we're in Jacksonville, Florida right now.
Yeah. Here in Jacksonville, Florida, I want to say there's at least 100 physical ATMs.
That is nuts. That's
I've never seen one.
I've never seen one.
There's 3 on the same corner that I'm at Drippy Smoke Shop. There's at the Sunoco right next door and the BP gas station across the street from that. And I think at the Kangaroo gas station across the street from, they all have Bitcoin ATMs.
Wow.
But there's no advertise. So that's for some reason, no other Bitcoin ATMs advertise. And I apparently am the only one that's been advertising. I haven't seen anybody on any other podcasts and nothing like that.
For sure.
Or on Instagram and stuff. Nobody's promoting Bitcoin ATMs. So I honestly don't know how they're getting out word of mouth, how people are using them, how they're getting so much money. So that's why I've been approaching a different route, trying to get out there word of mouth, go to pop-up events and stuff and try to talk to locals about Bitcoin in general and try to educate people about it. And then when they're like, well, how do I get in it? Well, I provide a way for you to get into it as well.
I love it, dude. You're like the full package with the Bitcoin thing, bro. It's so fucking dope, man. And I appreciate you just like giving all this free game out, bro. Cause I mean, I'm sure in the end of the day, like it helps you make money as well, but it's so cool too, to like help other people, you know, just maybe have a little bit more control of their money. You know what I mean? In the end of the day. Boys, I want to jump into something real quick. This is a new segment that we're doing for the new studio.
Okay.
It is called On the Clock.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Clock with the man himself, Kalen Ritter. So, Kalen, how this is going to go is we're going to rapid fire questions at you for 60 seconds. I'm going to pull those up right now. Joe, you got that timer ready?
Get my timer.
And basically just answer them. They're going to be like this or that style questions. So we're just going to go through it one by one. And I'll start us off, Joey. Let me know when you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
All right, sneakers or boots?
Boots.
Whiskey or vodka?
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Road trip or flight?
Flight.
Hoodie or jacket?
Jacket.
Ooh, pancakes or waffles?
Either. Waffles.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Gym or home workout?
Home workout.
Horror or sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
Beer pong or flip cup? That's a good one.
Flip cup.
Ooh, gold or silver?
Gold.
Gotta be.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Cook at home or dine out?
Cook at home.
Action or adventure?
Adventure.
Online shopping or in-store? Next.
Online.
Physical books or ebooks?
Ebooks.
Card games or board games?
Card games.
Spicy or mild?
Spicy.
Plane or train?
Plane.
Ooh.
Karaoke or trivia?
And that's it. How many did we get through on that one?
Almost all of them. We had 3 left,
Let's
so that was
finish it.
good.
Let's
Let's
finish
finish it. So karaoke or trivia?
Trivia.
Solo trip or group trip?
Solo trip.
Dessert or an appetizer?
Dessert.
Staycation or vacation?
Vacation.
For
All
sure.
day, baby.
Yeah.
Those are good answers. I agree with you on most of those. I will say the one that I didn't, it was pancakes or waffles, which you weren't too confident on that one anyway, but I'm pancakes all the way.
Mine was hoodie or jacket. It's got to be a hoodie.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather
gotta be
have
a
a
You know what's weird though? I actually wear a hoodie most of the time. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Say it, shit.
Hey, when it's on the clock, bro, it sometimes gets dicey.
I was thinking utility in my head, like when you asked me whatever with the boots, like the first thing that hit my head was which one's more utility. So that's why I said like boots. So when it was hoodie or jacket, I was like, damn, because that's why I froze on it. So I was like, I wear hoodies, but then I was like, but jacket's got all the extra pockets and this and that.
So and with boots, like especially, I know Joey's gonna have a lot to say about this one.
I love me some boots.
But boots are the best because you can take them anywhere and it will go with any fit. Really, I mean, for the most part, and they're so good. Like you can go and curb stomp somebody if you need to. You can also go cut your lawn. You can
And they make me 2.5 inches taller.
Oh, true. Yeah,
and he's still only 5'8".
Okay.
All right, boys. Is there anything else you have for Kalen?
No.
Dude, seriously, thank you so
No,
much
seriously,
for coming
thank
through,
you. I've learned so fucking much.
Awesome.
Like, I
yeah,
wanna
you
go
guys
back
got to
to
get you
Yeah.
some Bitcoin, man, because this dollar shit really is getting phased
Bro,
out.
I'll tell you right now, I will never touch another dollar bill going from this episode on him. You will not catch me. If you catch
I'll
me
give you all of mine. You can have all my dollar bills.
No, dude, seriously. But let's go ahead and plug these people in. Where can they? I mean, we already told them the locations of the ATMs, but do you guys have a social or anything where people can follow and stay up to date on the Bitcoin thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram at Crypto Hub LLC, I believe is my username on there that you can find, or tag handle. I'm on, you can look up my name. If you look up Crypto Hub and Kalen Ritter, if you Google that, my LinkedIn pops up, website pops up, everything. So you can find me on there. If you want to reach out to me for getting a custom built mining machine, I could, I've got a guy that has the plug-in NVIDIA, gets all the most badass AI equipment. If you want something small, we can start you out. And
So
then
anything with Bitcoin, you're the man.
Anything Bitcoin, I got you. Yeah, you want to come trade out your cash for it or sell your Bitcoin for cash, I got you. You want to learn about trading, I could point you in the right direction. I don't teach trading. I am a day trader. I started learning trading in like 2018. I don't recommend it because it's something you really got to have the patience and a lot of discipline to sit down and stare at data and come to a conclusion about.
For sure.
So that's why I really don't talk about that much, especially like on social media. A lot of people do ask me about it, and I don't just ignore it because it's mostly about the Bitcoin ATM on my social media anyway. But since it's Crypto Hub, I made it Crypto Hub as a generic term for anything crypto. If you want to hit me up to learn about anything, I could at least guide you in the right direction.
Right. For sure. No, dude, I think it's so dope, man. Everything you've talked about, I'm just like fucking mind blown. I mean, you don't really realize some of the stuff that goes behind just a fucking dollar. You know what I mean? Until you get on here and talk about it. So, dude, I fucking appreciate you so much, bro. All the OGs are listening to this episode. If you guys want more bonus content, you already know where to go, baby. Tell Joey Allen. Where's it at?
Patreon. You got to get up on out there.
Yeah, so patreon.com/OG sessions. We got all the bonus content on there, secret sessions, just extra shit, man. If you guys just want to keep hearing me and Joey yap our little asses off 24/7, go over to Patreon.
Believe it or not, he yaps more.
Oh,
there's more.
We're just getting started. We are just getting started. Also, if you want to follow the OG Sessions podcast, Instagram is OG Sessions Pod, X OG Sessions Pod, and TikTok just OG Sessions. Which, if it's after January 19th, you can
don't even look.
Forget about the TikTok thing because it's no longer there. Unless you're outside the United States, which we have a couple. I mean,
we have a lot actually.
We actually have a bunch of Chinese listeners too. I think it's like 1%. So, shout out y'all. Keep watching and enjoy us on TikTok. We won't be posting on there anymore, but also, if you guys want to look as handsome as Joey Allen looks right now in that t-shirt and that hat, you already know where the fuck to go. Now, the muscles don't come with the t-shirt, but if you want
sold separately,
if you want to at least look like Joey Allen, It's ogsessions.com. All the merch is on there for you. Once again, shout out to everyone that shops with us. It means a fucking shit ton. And yeah, we're going to be back next week, man. But nonetheless, such a good episode. Seriously, Kalen, it's been an honor having you in here today, bro. Seriously, thank you so much for coming through. Man. This has been like probably the most educational podcast episode we've ever done. So, dude, thank you so much, man. And until next week, boys, we are out.
Peace.